Joe, what happened in that third quarter?
Lost our offensive purpose, lost our game plan discipline, allowed them to get out in transition, get second chance shots, didn't guard the three-point line.
This is your fourth home loss. I know I asked you that question in practice yesterday, but again, you're 500 at home. How does that keep happening?
I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that, we won 3 out of the 4 quarters. We got away from who we are in the third quarter, whether it's home or away. It's the details, it's the margins, it's the little things. We've shown we can do it both home and away, and I don't think that matters as much as what our mindset is during certain stretches.
When it's going like that, I mean, you gave up 46 points in that third. Obviously, if you knew how to stop it, you would have stopped it. But, I mean, that's where along the way could it have been stopped where it wasn't?
Get better shots, don't turn it over, and don't foul, and don't give up offensive rebounds, and don't give up threes.
You spoke at practice about needing to dial back into that urgency from the last few games of the Philadelphia series. How did you think your team adjusted to a totally different type of series in this Miami matchup?
I thought the first half was good, and I thought we just let go of the rope in the third quarter, lost that sense of urgency. Adjusting to the fact that we played harder than them in the first half, and they played harder than us in the second half, third quarter.
They shot higher than 50% from 3. Was that them hitting shots? Did you see something in terms of getting out on them?
That kind of goes back to some of our game plan execution as far as taking away certain personnel. Lowry hit one in transition, which he's great at. Love hit one in transition, which he hunts. We lost sight of Strus a couple times. He hit a deep one. So I think it's just more about personnel tendencies, game plan, execution.
And evaluation of the fourth quarter execution down the stretch, what did you see there on the offensive
it was
side?
much better than our third quarter defensive execution.
Joe, you called the timeout, I think, after a stop with 3.5 minutes left in the game. What were you telling the team you were looking for, and how come you think you guys turned it over like several times after that?
Just our spacing. It was a use it or lose it. Had 3, used one before 3. Got to our spacing. Floor wasn't balanced, and they were able to shift off of us.
And going up against Spoelstra, who's constantly making adjustments on the fly, willing to kind of call timeouts and change things up so quickly, how did you balance trying to let things play out in the ways you usually do versus having to seize control?
I called 2 in the first quarter.
Thinking more like the third quarter.
No, I don't call 2 in the first quarter. Save it for the third quarter run.
Joe, just to your right, just a thought on being down 1-0. You were down last year. You're down last year to the same team, 1-0. As you look ahead.
Yes, we are down 1-0.
What things do you need to do now as far as
game plan discipline, transition defense, defend without fouling, guard the three-point line, have a better understanding of personnel tendencies, and then on the offensive end, this team does a great job of taking advantage of bad spacing and bad offensive organization.
Joe, you said they played harder than you in the third quarter. That's what they do. They play harder than their opponent. How are you guys unprepared for that? And
we were prepared. We played harder than them in the first half, and then they outplayed us for 1 quarter. So we were prepared for it. We had the right mindset heading into the game.
But
No, we had the right mindset heading into the game. We played harder than they did, and we were prepared, and we did a great job.
The third quarter made all the difference, right?
It did, but we were prepared, and then we let go of the rope. And so there's 2 storylines here. It's one, we were ready to play, and we had a great job executing on both ends of the floor in the first half. And it's about the consistency of they're going to continue to play. And so we have to be prepared for when we do outplay them, that they're going to respond and we have to respond. And so we were prepared. We just let go of the rope.
Yeah, why did you let go of the rope?
I don't know. It's a great question. And that's what we have to figure out. But it came from our attention to detail. But we were prepared for the game. We were prepared for them, and our guys came out and played. And then we have to be better in the third quarter.
Joe, you've mentioned a few times getting away from the game plan. What specifically veered out of what you guys were trying to do, I guess specifically for the defense you're referring to?
Just giving up threes in transition. I thought they got out in transition. They were able to get some leak outs. We got cross-matched a lot in transition, which put us into some difficult spots in the half court and just lost sight of their shooters. And then they got some offensive rebounds on us in that third quarter as well.
And you mentioned the preparation being where it needed to be. Al saying what he did in practice yesterday, and Malcolm mentioning that. Did anything kind of, you think, spill over from a preparation?
We won 3 out of the 4 quarters. We lost 1 quarter because we dropped our sense of urgency. So no.
And was that just from kind of the position you were in going into halftime with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of that has to do with it. I think also we played harder than they did in the first half, so naturally they're going to respond. And when you're playing at a certain level, especially against a team like this, you can't just think that what you did in the past is good enough. And so we have to adjust our mindset regardless of what we're doing in one quarter. We have to raise our level of urgency. We have to raise our mindset knowing that they're going to respond. And that's what this series is about, is how long can we stay the more competitive, the more physical, the more disciplined basketball team.
I have a couple of questions, Tim, then John.
You mentioned personnel tendencies a couple times. There were a couple times where you guys doubled on to Jimmy, and he was able to get guys to threes. Was that sort of what you were looking for in terms of trying to get the ball out of his hands, or was that more of the latter of kind of losing track of shooters on the perimeter?
I think it was just like there's always freedom to make plays, and I think if a possession kind of warrants an opportunity to make a play, you try and go and make it. And so I think on those couple ones that you're talking about, we just tried to make a play and it didn't go our way. Yeah, but some of the threes are like the catch and shoot ones for Strus, the transition for Lowry, the transition for Love, the Vincent ones. Those are the ones that you got to work to take away.
And you mentioned spacing as an issue down the stretch. The ball movement was obviously really good in the first half. I think Mark said 10 assists. You guys had 15. Obviously fewer in the second half. Was there anything specific Miami did, or was that more of you guys getting away from what you were doing in the first half?
I obviously think they played harder. I think they give up 40 points in the paint in the first half. They're going to make an adjustment. But I thought because we couldn't get stops in the third quarter, we weren't able to get out and get them cross-matched and get them into 5-on-4 situations,
Joe, you talk about let go of the rope. That has been a pretty consistent thing throughout the course of the season. You guys have multiple instances of that. Why haven't you, now in the Eastern Conference Final, why haven't you guys been able to break that habit?
Yeah, I think it just goes back to like who can stay the more competitive, physical, detailed team the longest. And so we do it for long stretches. And, we just have lulls at times, and we got to be better at not having those.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
See from your team what sort of 180 the game at that moment.
Games are long, so it's not like there was any kind of speech or anything at halftime. There was actually not a whole lot to be said. Our guys knew. We're playing against a very good basketball team, and in the first half, we had 11 turnovers and they had 40 in the paint. I can't say that that's just all us. I mean, that's what they're capable of doing if we're not really on top of our game. We're fortunate that we were only down 9. I mean, they were about to break it open to 15 or more a couple times in that second quarter. We were able to hang on and battle and keep that thing under 10. I think that was really important. So at least we came in to halftime feeling that we could play a lot better, and the game was still right there. And we've been in a lot of these situations where we've had to battle back from deficits even on the road. So we just started to chip away at it, and finally got the lead and were able to take control from there.
So just like game 1 of the Knicks, it was 40 in the paint in the first half and then around 20 in the second half. What do you guys keep adjusting at halftime to clean that up?
Just mentality. I mean, this is what we're trying. This is who we try to be. But look, when I say it's easier said than done, it's easier said than done. They've got offensive firepower. They got spacing. They have guys that'll break down your defense and collapse the defense. And the turnovers definitely didn't help. So we just shored up a little bit of stuff on both ends of the court, and you have to compete a full 48 minutes, and we're able to do that.
How much did Jimmy kind of take control there of the game in the second half? Not only with the scoring,
Yeah.
but the kickouts, the steals, just
all of it.
things.
Yeah, that's well said. Right, as one of the premier, if not the premier, two-way basketball players on this in this association. That's what we needed. We needed, him to make some plays defensively. We needed him to also just be, ball containment defensively, on the ball, off the ball, all that stuff. Settled us offensively. That's a big part of us, not turning the ball over, is just having a place where you can throw the ball and get a little bit more settled. I think even the 11 turnovers in the first half is a little bit uncharacteristic for us. We were a little bit disjointed offensively in the first half. But I think also you have to credit them. They got us out of our normal stuff, even though we were able to score 57. And then, down the stretch, Jimmy was able to just do everything that we needed, as a scorer or as a facilitator, and he's willing to do both.
Coach, having said that, in the second quarter, Kyle, his shooting and his leadership, and then in the third quarter, you were down to 71-59. You pushed the pace, and they seem to have Jimmy, if there is such a thing, a little bit neutralized. I mean, talk about the others, and I use that term respectfully.
Yeah, thank you for saying respectfully, because it's a collective effort. Jimmy's not just about being a scorer. You see these gaudy numbers that everybody's putting up in the playoffs. Jimmy's, defined by, other things. He can find a way to impact the game on either side of the floor, even if he's not scoring. Kyle's production in the first half was just super important. Like, that could have been a 15, 20-point lead if he didn't have that kind of, second quarter. But everybody's got to contribute. And, guys stepped up and made big plays on both sides. Defensively in the second half, there was a lot of guys, putting their imprints on the game. And then, Max had some really good stuff in the second half. And then Caleb, that's just what he's been doing now for several months. He just makes these timely, big-time winning plays. And we needed all of those.
Erik, only one team in NBA history has made it to the finals as an 8 seed. And obviously, we've got a whole series.
Yeah.
But the journey so far, just even to get to this point, is making history and doing those kinds of things, is that something that you guys embrace, talk about, fuel you, anything like that?
No.
Right.
Erik, what Bam did for you, Williams got going early. Their power game was sort of overwhelming, and it's almost as if Bam read the game. This is what I need to do against this matchup. Can you talk a little bit about how your power rotation sort of came around from that, what it was at halftime, second chance points, and just how, when it seemed they were going to outpower you, your power rotation, especially Bam, came back?
Yeah, I just think, we can probably say it. I can say it this way. You can say it that way. Tomato, tomato. It was just we were more intentional. We were a little bit scattered in that first half. Like I said, it was just a little bit uncharacteristic of us. We had a lot of empty possessions and a lot of possessions where we weren't organized. Spacing wasn't right. Ball wasn't going where we needed to go. We were getting into our offense, just kind of haphazardly. And they're too good. They are. Our guys know it too. We have great respect, for that team and that other locker room. If you don't do things the right way, you pay the price for it. We're just much more intentional about that in the second half. And Bam's a major part of what we do. And it wasn't like we reinvented an offense. We just got to kind of what we do a little bit more consistently. And he was just really good on both ends of the court. Again, whatever I said about Jimmy, you say that about Bam. Because he does it on both ends, and he's not defined by that final number on the box score.
Spo, you've given so much praise to the entire group, but specific to Jimmy, when he's consistently at this level, what does it do for the rest of the guys to have the belief that he's out there and able to close?
You can't quantify it. There's no analytic to it. Just the feeling of stability in the locker room, even when you're down 9, in the first half when we played poorly. But you have to credit Boston because they made us play poorly. There's just a settling effect that it's impossible to quantify that. Like, all right, we're in striking distance. Let's just settle into our game, and Jimmy will make a bunch of plays, Bam will make a bunch of plays, and we'll be all right. And everybody can just fit into their roles. But that's what the great players, do. Okay. Well,
The Celtics are a high volume 3-point shooting team. You guys were able to limit them to 29 attempts tonight. What was behind that? Is there anything you guys were doing, or was it?
I don't know. Jeez, it felt like they had a ton of them in the first half. I don't know. I'm not even prepared to answer that right now. Like, I haven't looked at the box score. It felt like they had, more. We just, we know that's a big part of what they do. We're trying to take some of those away, but it's tough.
Spo, Boston's a team with a lot of great wing defenders, from Smart, Brown, White on down. Jimmy just seems to consistently be able to get to his spot on the floor. How would you describe that ability, how he's able to just to get where he wants to go almost every possession?
It's a innate skill set, experience, talent, and he just gets to his strength zones. That's a talent unto itself. And then he's also willing to make the right play over and over and over. If it happens to be a pass, he's not playing for numbers. He's playing to try to help the offense get the best possible high percentage shot. That's a different language. And he's doing, like that's a very good defense. They do have a lot of capable individual defenders, so we have to be very intentional in what we do. Okay, thank you.
Jimmy, this is 3 straight series of starting on the road and starting with an opening victory on the road to reclaim home court advantage. Is there a similarity to the 3, and what does it just say about this team that you come in to the other team's house and take away home court advantage right away?
We're just playing really good basketball. More than anything, we're staying together through the good and through the bad. It is a game of runs, and we can talk to one another. I think that's what ultimately makes me smile, is the fact that when things aren't going our ways, we can look at each other eye to eye and know when somebody's messing around, and we can fix it. I feel like we did a really good job on the defensive end. We shared the ball on offense, made some shots, got a win, but that's not enough for us, and we want to get another one in 2 days.
Jimmy, through the years, you've always taken so much pride in how much work you poured into your game, but you never want to put a limit on how high you can go. In your opinion, though, given the consistency of where you're at right now, do you think this is the highest level that your game has been at to date?
I don't think so. I really feel as though with anything in life, if you get the opportunity and you have the belief that my teammates, my coaches, Coach Pat, ownership have in me to, kind of lead the charge along with Bam right now, anything is possible. Like, I'm playing at an incredible level because they're allowing me to do so. They're not putting a limit on my game. They're trusting me with the ball on the defensive end. And I think that's what any basketball player wants. That's what anybody wants out of life, is just to be wanted, be appreciated, and just let you go out there and rock.
Hey, Jimmy, Marcus Smart had 10 assists in the first half. As well as he was playing, were you kind of surprised not to see him as much in the second half?
Nah. I think he played well all game long. He was making all the right plays, and they made a lot of shots. He defended incredibly well, made shots too. I think they'll, watch film and see that they probably have to utilize him more. I would. I got a lot of respect for that guy, for what he does on the defensive side of the ball, and for sure what he does on the offensive side of the ball, because he plays his role to the T. So we're going to have to lock in on that, because 10.5 is some pretty good basketball.
Right. And then, coming off of Tatum had a pretty big game in Game 7. What are some of the little things you guys try to do to throw him off his game, make him uncomfortable?
Challenge, all shots. We try to keep him off the free throw line. He shot 11 of those. We reached a little bit too much, but that's what, MVP caliber players do. They do everything incredibly well.
He made shots. He got to the free throw line, hit the three, mid-post transition, all of that. We will be better next game, and he may make shots. You can't get down on that. You got to know that we play defense the right way, and we're going to keep doing that.
Jimmy, what does it feel like for your confidence in momentum when you see them start to crack a little in the third quarter? You hear their fans start to boo a bit. What does it do for you guys to hear that and feel that going forward?
Absolutely nothing, honestly. We're a confident group. Whether we're up 10, down 10, we're not too worried about the opposing team. I think whenever you do that, you get lost in what got you where. And we're so worried about us all year long and how we could be the best version of ourselves that if we're up 10, down 10, we still need to play our style of basketball. We still need to be together, share the ball, get stops. Booing, no booing, we got to worry about the Miami Heat.
Hey, Jimmy, when you're going like you were tonight, scoring and then also on defense with the steals, how does one side of the floor impact the other? How do they cooperate for you?
I would like to think that I just play hard. I try to make the right plays on the offensive side of the ball. Probably not. I shot a couple bad ones. Like I said, my teammates, my coaches, they allow me to do that. On the defensive side of the ball, it's a lot of energy, but I'm not the only one that's doing it. So I feed off of my teammates diving on the floor, taking charges, getting back on defense, just like they feed off of my energy on the defense. It just so happened that I happened to get my hand on the basketball and get some steals. But as long as you play hard, I really believe that really good things happen majority of the time.
Jimmy, I would imagine that you don't feel like an 8 seed. You and the Heat. That you don't. This doesn't feel like you're climbing mountains and knocking off favorites and all those kinds of things.
That's a question?
Well, it's the start of a question.
Oh, okay. Well, what's the question?
Just the question is, how does this feel to you guys, what you have done so far? And if you go back all the way to that night against Chicago in the play-in, did you think then that something like this would be possible?
Damn right. I did. Damn right we did. And the best part about it is we still don't care what none of y'all think, honestly speaking. We don't care if you pick us to win. We never have. We never will. We know the group of guys we have in this locker room. We know that Coach Spo puts so much confidence and belief in each and every one of us. Coach Pat as well. And so our circle's small, but this circle got so much love for one another. We pump constant confidence into everybody. And we go out there and we hoop. We play basketball the right way, knowing that we always got a chance.
Thanks,
For sure.
Third quarter, we gave up too many points. Sometimes we didn't get back, had some turnovers, spacing, defensive coverages that we kind of, got mixed up on that, we went over today and shoot around. So a lot of things that we can control to be better at.
And he's talked a lot about you guys adjusting on the fly, you guys being open to adjustments, especially against this team that's switching it up so much. How much did you guys out there feel the need to adjust to some of the things they were doing, and do you think you did so effectively?
Yeah, I think, we just gave up 46 points in the third. So, that's defense and transition and offensive rebounds and, not closing out the shooters. So, there's some things that we really got to focus on and go over tomorrow and, at practice.
Jayson, you guys have had a kind of history of, Joe talked about letting go of the rope in the third quarter. Why is it that that's something that has continued to happen throughout the course of the season and in the playoffs?
I don't know why, but I just know today, like I said, we gave up some transition baskets. They got in a rhythm. They were comfortable. We didn't close out the shooters. We gave up some offensive rebounds. So in recent games, I'd have to go back and watch them. But tonight, that's kind of what happened.
And this year, even go back to last year, home court advantage hasn't been much of an advantage. You guys have about a 500 record at home in the playoffs. Why is that not helping? Having home court advantage.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why. You still got to play the game. You still got to make plays, regardless of, you're at home or on the way. The court is the same. It's 1 ball, 3 reps, 2 baskets. So, I don't have an exact answer why we 500 at home. We just got to be better.
Jayson, you guys struggled a bit offensively down the stretch, execution-wise. What were they doing to kind of take you guys out of the rhythm there, do you feel like? And you personally, you weren't able to take a shot in the fourth quarter. Were they doing anything special to you there to kind of deny you?
We got to play with more pace. I'm thinking the third quarter we kind of played too slow, mainly because we weren't getting stops. In the fourth quarter we made a couple runs, got to push the ball. And those go hand in hand with getting stops and getting out in transition. So it starts on the defensive end. Just play with, some more pace, play a little bit faster.
Last question to Jared.
Jayson, Joe called that timeout with like 3.5 minutes left in the game, said he wanted to figure out your guys' spacing, then you come out and you threw the ball away and Jimmy turned it over, or Jimmy stole it, and then you had a couple up and down travels. What was Miami able to do to get in the way of your guys' spacing, and why do you think you had those travels?
I turned the ball over, threw it to Jimmy. That was on me. And, on the shot fake, I just got sped up a little bit. So, just got to slow down a little bit in those moments.
Philly, they also were able to kind of make you guys uncomfortable with their speed in game one. Miami kind of did the same thing tonight. So how were you guys able to adjust to find your pace against Philly, and how do you think you can do that against Miami?
We're going to have practice tomorrow, watch film, we're going to talk about it, discuss the things that we did well, the things that we can do better, and come out and execute better on Friday.
Thank you. Questions for Marcus?
Marcus, kind of go over, in your mind, what happened in that third quarter, obviously, with the 46 points as you guys went about it, and was it mostly just defensive problems for you guys?
Yeah, they scored 46 points in the third quarter. I mean, we didn't play the best that we could play. You know what I'm saying? They hit shots, and it happened. I mean, obviously, if we knew the reason, we wouldn't have let it happen. But, we're going to go back, watch the film, see what we did good, see what we need to fix, see what we need to do better, and move on.
Marcus, Joe talked a lot about you guys veering away from the game plan. What were some specific areas where you thought that might have happened tonight?
Just defensively, our physicality. We had a game plan to come in and be very physical. First half, we did a pretty good job. Second half, we didn't. And when you're playing against a team like Miami, when you don't come out and execute the game plan, they make you pay.
And how much of that came down to you guys needing to adjust to some things maybe they switched up at halftime?
I mean, the only thing we need to adjust to is picking up our physicality and playing some damn defense. That's the only thing they switched. They didn't change anything from the first half that they weren't doing. They just upped their physicality, and that was it. There's nothing tactical, X's and O's. It's just come out and, guard your yard. And they scored 46 in that third, and they got going, and, they made us pay, and it led into the fourth quarter.
At the other end, Marcus, you really had the offense moving the ball. I think you had 10 assists in the first half. You guys had 15 overall. You had won the second half. The team, I think, had 7. Was there anything beyond the physicality that they did to try to limit your guys' ball movement, or was that just a matter of them getting into you guys and you not being able to keep the kind of spacing you had in the first half?
No, we just got really antsy. Everybody wanted to make a play. And our spacing, we let our spacing control the game, and it worked against us tonight. We in the second half, First half, we was getting to our spots, and we was getting the easy shots, the great shots. Second half, we were all clustered up on each other. Didn't really give each other any room to maneuver and work. So we just got to continue to make sure, we do those little things that get into our space and, giving our guys some space on the floor.
Joe, in that timeout with like 3.5 minutes left, he said that he tried to kind of reconfigure you guys some ball movement, and then Jimmy started turning you guys over. Jimmy was able to get to where he wanted to on offense. Why was it just so hard to seize control in those final moments when you were kind of knew what you wanted to do?
Well, when those guys get it going, anybody in this league, they start hitting tough shots. Because they start to feel really good, momentum, and the energy, and they had it. For us, we just can't allow that. On both ends, offensively and defensively, we allowed them to do what they wanted to do, get where they wanted to go. And really, for us, we just got to pick it up. Knowing that we were playing good in the first half, second half, we got to understand that, that teams are going to come out and up their pressure, especially when they're down.
Marcus, looking at the third quarter, obviously this team has some lapses. Is that something with this team? Is it just basketball? Why do you feel that at times, team struggles with consistency?
We get tired of doing the little things sometimes. I think that showed exactly what we was talking about earlier, our spacing. We have a lot of great players, but when we're all on top of each other, nobody can be great. So, you got a good defensive team like Miami, they make you pay for that. So we gotta make sure we do those little things, and we can't get bored with those. And we got to realize what has got us the lead or what was working for us.
Marcus, when they're going on that big third quarter run on you guys, were you at all looking to the bench? Were you thinking a timeout was coming, or did you feel like the game needed to be stopped and kind of regroup a little bit, or do you feel good about where things were?
No, we Joe's real big on a lot of times not bailing us out on stuff when we're playing like shit. So, we got to look ourselves in the mirror. Joe could call a timeout, and then what? We come out and do the same thing. So it's on us, Joe and his coaching staff, they put in a lot of work to come up with a game plan and put us in the right spots to succeed. But they're not out there playing. So, we got to come together and we got to start helping each other out, on both ends.
And you obviously talked about you said they had the energy tonight. You obviously come off 2 really emotional games, elimination games against a big rival. You come back with a clean slate. You do have a margin for error again. Did you feel like maybe the urgency wasn't there, that you guys were kind of?
I wouldn't say it wasn't there. I'd just say it wasn't there the whole game. It was there for 24 minutes, and we all know basketball is 48. So, we just got to continue to play a full game. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Pam. So much emphasis with good reason is placed on both you and Jimmy, but one of the most important runs of the game was when Jimmy was sort of under control, if there is such a thing, in that third quarter run. Can you talk about the play of the bench and the others?
Yeah, I'll wait. There you go. Baby blue on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all keep asking Bam questions.
He just started. He was waiting for you. He was delaying.
Smart man.
Did you hear the question, Kyle? No, you did. I was asking about the run that the bench or the others put in when you guys were down by 71-59, and the importance of the other players, regardless of how great Jimmy and Bam are playing.
Yeah, I think the one thing about our team is, Jimmy and Bam they're going to lead us, and they're going to be the guys who take us there, honestly. And the others, and we just go out there and they give us the confidence to go out there and shoot shots, be aggressive, be assertive, and that's all that matters. These guys give us the confidence. We just step up for them and make sure that we make their jobs a little bit easier.
Bam, similar to the game one against New York, you guys gave up 40 in the paint in the first half, and then you cleaned it up again in the second half. What are you guys adjusting at halftimes of these games to protect the paint better?
I mean, we have a great video group,
and they put all the stats at half, and basically show us what we went wrong and how we can improve in the second half. So after watching it and talking to the coaches, we be honest with one another, look each other in the eye, and say how we feel and what we need to get done.
Kyle, you've obviously known Jimmy a while, but played with him the last couple of years. What is it like playing with him right now when he's playing at this high of a level consistently?
It's fun. Who's that? Oh, it's fun. Bam said it's amazing. I think it's just great to be a part of this this run he's been on since, I don't know how long it's been now. It's been, but that's what he does. He's one of the best players in the world for a reason. And it's just a joy to watch it. And for a guy, he wants it so bad and he works so hard at his craft. It's important to, enjoy his success. And, he gives us all the confidence to be successful and be aggressive and assertive, and that's what makes him special. And that he's not all about him. It's about our group and our team and everyone else.
Kyle, for you and for Bam, please, just 3 straight series, 3 straight road wins at the start, 3 straight times of reclaiming home court advantage.
Jesus, bro.
Well, you do have home court advantage. I'm sorry. Just the way your team has come out and made 3 straight opening statements. How about that?
I think we just go out there and we try to win basketball games. At the end of the day, we are the 8th seed, so we're on the road. So we got to go out there and try to win games on the road, and we don't have the advantage of having 4 games at home. So we got to go out there and try to win games on the road.
We find ways to win.
Bam, what's the biggest difference in maybe the way Boston defended you today compared to maybe the first 2 playoff opponents? And is it maybe calling you more to be more of a scorer in this series as opposed to a playmaker because of the way they're defending you?
My teammates want me to be aggressive first. If they start to send a double, I'm a phenomenal passer, so that's when I can make the extra pass or.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, but I take it. Do you have one assist tonight?
I had more assists than you.
You had the ball more than me, though. It's cool.
Anyways.
Phenomenal passer.
Yeah, phenomenal passer. So I make the right plays and make the right reads.
Bam, kind of along those lines, I know that your role in the offense all season has been more of a facilitator. Things run through you more this year. But in this series, compared to the last conference finals against the Celtics, it wasn't like that a year ago. So you in this role now, how does that change the complexion of this series?
I mean, I've gotten so much better since last year. Making reads, being aggressive, knowing time and score, and just the whole overall of the game, I feel like I've gotten better. So it's a different me. Playing than it was last year.
Kyle, understanding that there's an element of make or miss to everything, why or how do you think this team continues to be able to find a way to tap into such elite and timely shot making?
I said we got 2 guys, and our stars gives us all the confidence that we need. I'm dead serious. Jimmy and Bam, these guys, and our coaching staff, and we know the work that we put in, and the guys know that, like, when you have guys that are so unselfish and gives us the confidence to do it, we're going to do it, and we don't want to let them down. Even if we miss shots, they're still like, shoot it again, and that gives us all the confidence that we need. I mean, honestly, Max, big shots, Gabe, huge shots, Caleb, big shots, and it's just about us continuing to be ready and prepared to, make plays for those guys to make their job easier.
Last one.
Thank God.
So much is said about teams peaking at the right time. And, so much said is about 8th seed. Both of you guys. You guys are an 8th seed, but you're certainly not playing like an 8th seed. I mean, you're one of the best teams in the league right now. Can you talk about how it's evolved and that you do have that in addition to having a chip on your shoulder?
I would say everybody counting us out from the beginning was kind of builds that chip. but also the adversity we've been through this whole season, the ups and downs, the games we should have won but didn't win, going to the locker room, trying to figure it out, rewrite whatever we did wrong, and going through that put us in this position. Now I feel like we're one of the best, like you said, one of the best teams in the league just because adversity built this. We all looked each other in the face and said, this is the second playing game, this is our last run. This is it. And from there, man, I just felt like everybody just bought into that will. And, I feel like we just been willing wins.
Great answer, man. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Jaylen, you guys have lost a couple of game ones here. Obviously, we know that it's not the end of the world, but, how long can you have these situations where you're losing a game one before you think it starts to catch up to you?
I don't know. We'll see. All we could do is come out and put our best foot forward. Tonight, Miami outplayed us from the tip, especially in that third quarter. I think we lost the game in that third quarter, but I don't know. We just got to keep playing each game.
Yeah, in your mind, what happened in the third quarter?
I feel like they got going. We gave them some easy looks in transition. And defensively, our intensity wasn't where it needed to be. We was up 10. I guess we was a little comfortable. And to start the fourth quarter, they turned it up and ended up finishing the quarter. We was up 10 to start coming out of halftime and finished being down 10 going into the fourth quarter. And that just can't happen.
And then it's your elbow. Did you take a hit?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Jaylen, Marcus mentioned physicality. He used that word probably about a handful of times when he was in here. What does that come down to, kind of meeting that level? Is it just a decision? Is it conversations before the game? What does that come down to on a night-to-night basis?
Yeah, it's a choice. It's a decision. Just come out and play with a different mentality. And we came out too cool. Like, it was just almost like we was just playing a regular season game. Like, it's the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, come on. We got to play with more intensity than we did today. And we just got to be better, including me.
Jay, when Joe mentioned you guys veering away from the game plan to some degree, what were some examples you thought of how that might have happened?
Defensively, for sure. That intensity that we had in the last series, we did not start today with that. And that's, I think, that bottom line what the game plan is. I thought we got a lot of great looks on offense, but defense is going to obviously help us propel to get to where we want to get to. And defensively tonight, we wasn't good enough. We gave up 123 points, and whatever the game plan should be defense.
And Al mentioned yesterday there being some lightness, some looseness at practice. Joe thought you guys were prepared enough for this game, but do you feel the same way coming out of yesterday?
Yeah, I think we felt good. I felt good. I thought we had a good game plan going into the game. It just lacked intensity. They came out, give me credit to Miami, they came out and outplayed us from jump. They were more physical, and they outplayed us. They shot the ball well, and that's how they won the game, especially in that third quarter. And we got loose with the ball, et cetera, but we got to be better.
Jaylen, you certainly know these guys very well. They know you. So how do you respond after this from the sense of you knew what kind of might happen tonight, and how do you look at it going forward now that they've delivered the first blow?
We just got to keep playing basketball, and we too far to hang our head. We too far to look back and be like, oh, the series is over. It's one game. So we just got to get ready to play the next one. Made some mistakes tonight. Got a great opportunity the next game on Friday to come out and play and lift our intensity. I'm looking forward to it.
Jaylen, after the game, you and Tony looked like you were going over some film. A lot of guys after the game, they kind of just want to decompress. Why did you want to get right back into it, and how important is that level of focus to actually beat a team like Miami?
Just going over some of the details. That's it, just trying to, figure out what went wrong and where things went wrong. But ultimately, we just got to all watch film tomorrow as a team and come out with a better intensity level, and I think we'll be better.
Jaylen, offensively, you guys had, I think, 10 turnovers in the second half there. You mentioned just being able to the ball. Were they changing anything up on you guys defensively to kind of force you into tough reads there? What did you kind of see from that standpoint?
Yeah, a little bit of both. A little bit of, casualness, but a little bit, spacing, but also just being strong with the ball. And we just got to be better. Ain't no excuses. We know what they do, like how they are, and we got to be better. And it starts with me.
Thank you, Jaylen.